Alright, welcome everyone. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work. And this afternoon, we'll be looking at Red Swastika's end of year paper for Primary 5. Let's start off with grammar first. Question 1. The show Dogs, which was well received last year, has been brought back dash popular demand. So first thing we need to take note is the type of question. So in this case, this is a preposition kind of question. Next, let's take a look at some keywords. They tell us a situation. The show has been brought back, which means that they are replaying the show, the Dogs, right? Next thing is popular demand. So this is the cause of the show being replayed. So let's take a look at the options. The first one, about, tells me an elaboration. For example, I say, I'm going to talk to you about my pet dog. That means I'm trying to elaborate on a particular topic. From shows a source. I bought this pack of chicken rice from the supermarket. Okay. For here shows in support of something. In support of a person or thing. Mother brought some chicken rice for brother. Okay. And by here shows a cause. So our question is looking for a preposition that tells me that the cause of the show being brought back is popular demand. So the answer would be number 4. Moving on. Question 2 reads, the mountaineer continued with his ascent to the summit, dash he was injured. So we are looking at conjunctions here. These are your linking words. Let's take a look at some keywords. Continued ascent. So this is something that is very strenuous and also very risky. And we observe that he is injured. So expected outcome would be he will stop climbing because he is injured, but he still continued this very risky activity. Now let's take a look at the options given to us. 4 shows reason. Brother brought a jacket for he would be cold in the hall. Because also shows reason. I was late because the train broke down. Despite and although shows contrast. So in light of the keywords that we have identified in the question, we will have determined that they are looking for some kind of contrast here. Or rather, they need a linking word to show that kind of contrast in the question. Now, the next question we need to ask ourselves is, when do we use despite and although? Well, although is used for when you are talking about the same subject, while despite is when there are 2 subjects or topic. So for our question here, the subject is fixed. We are looking at this guy, the mountaineer, and how he did 2 contrasting actions, but by the same person. So our answer would be number 3. Now let me give you an example sentence for despite. despite being outnumbered by the Japanese. The British Army fought courageously in Singapore. So in this case, we observe that there are two subjects. First, the Japanese soldiers outnumber the British soldiers. And it will be expected that they surrender, but they did not, and that's the contrast. So we see that the subsequent information given is the British Army, which is a different subject, and what did they do? They fought courageously. So this is what I mean by there are two different subjects in one sentence. All right. Now let's take a look at question 3. Neither the twins nor their mother dash able to bake a cake for tomorrow's party. So we are interested in subject-verb agreement here. Now the first thing to take note is mother. So this is the subject that is nearest to the blank. So mother is singular. Next, we observe tomorrow's party. So this tells me that it is in the future. Therefore, we use present tense. So our answer can be easily derived. Singular, present tense, we only have one answer, is. All right. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at question 4. Li En heard her brother dash his favorite song while he was showering. So first thing, heard. This is a action word, a verb. Next thing, this blank over here is also a verb. So this is our verb number 2, and we also have verb number 1. Okay, so let's take a look at the options. I'm sorry, I forgotten to tell everybody this is testing you on tenses. Okay. So let's take a look at the options given to us. First one is sing. Sing is in present tense and is plural. Sang is past tense. Sung is in past participle. While singing is continuous tense. That means this action is ongoing as you talk. Now, according to our verbs of perception, we need to apply this rule here because there are two verbs. Okay. So when this happens, our second verb must either be in the base form or in the ing form. Then some of you may be asking, so does that mean that both option 1 and option 4 are accepted? Yes, they are both accepted. So why is this so? Let me just illustrate using a timeline. So your first scenario can be Li En sat down at 2 p.m. At 2:05 p.m., her brother started singing. So this one will be you heard the brother sing. Okay. The second scenario can be at 2 p.m. the brother started singing. And only at 2:05 p.m. that she sat down. to listen to the singing. So as she tells us this particular sentence here, the brother's singing is also ongoing. So there are two concurrent activities. All right. So this question is a bit tricky, but I think when we use a timeline to illustrate the phases and timings, it is much clearer. All right. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question 5 now. If I save up enough money, I dash the new toy. So again, we're interested in tenses. First thing to take note, save. This is present tense. Now let's take a look at the options given. First one, buy. This is in present tense as well. Will buy. This is in the simple future tense. This means that the action takes place sometime in the future. Would buy is a conditional tense. This means that it is hypothetical. That means this situation hasn't happened yet. We're just talking about a possible event. And this hypothetical event is usually unlikely to happen. Next, we have would have bought. This again is in the conditional tense. So it's also for a hypothetical event. However, this is usually used to show unrealized action in the past, to show regret or disappointment. In other words, we will only use option 4 when we look back at the particular event, we reflect. After that, then we give a sigh and say, hiya, I should have done something. Then we will use number 4. Would buy here is hypothetical also, so it will not happen. Okay. Now, it cannot be in present tense as well because the author hasn't saved up enough money. He is in the midst of saving money. So the only possible answer we have would be number 2. Is that he can start saving up money. Hopefully one day he'll have enough money. And therefore, this is a future action of buying. Okay? So very good job, Si Ao Huang Na. Yep, that will be our answer, number 2. Okay, I'll just give everybody some time to take in the information I've shared before we move on to our next 5 questions. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at question 6 now. Wen Xin prepared tonight's dinner. Dash, her father asked. So over here, we are looking at a question. Now, the first thing I observe is here, prepared. This is in the past tense. The next thing is I'll look at my options and I'll eliminate those that are not in the past tense. Will is the positive connotation of would. So number 1 is out. Hasn't and has. Number 3 is out. So I only have number 2 and number 4 left. So we will look at the word prepared. So it doesn't make sense that it was prepared. But if she did prepare or prepare, that will make more sense. Okay? Because did is past tense. So it means that Wen Xin completed an action in the past. And that's why now the dinner is completed and you can eat the dinner now. Now, if you want to use was prepared, that will be grammatically wrong. Okay, so answer will be number 2. Okay, so good job, Kallang and Xiao Huang Na. Now, some of you may be asking, how about has? If we has prepared, makes sense. But this is not in the correct form because this is in the present perfect continuous, which means that the action began in the past and is still continuing now. But this isn't the case because she has already prepared. That's why the father can ask a particular question. Okay? So in this case, our answer is option 2. Okay, let's take a look at question 7 now. During a birthday celebration, Mr. and Mrs. Tan introduced a friend of Dash to my family. So this question is very straightforward. It's just asking you for the pronouns. And we're looking at two people, Mr. and Mrs. Tan. And we are not referring, it's not a friend that is related to me. So looking at our options 3 and 4, the answer will be number 3. It's number 4, a friend of theirs. Okay. Yep, good job, Huang Na. Now let's go on to question 8 now. My sister dashed at the hair salon for the past 5 months and enjoys what she is doing. So we are interested in the tenses here. And the keyword is past 5 months. That means that as we are talking, the action is still ongoing. What action? Working at the hair salon. Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at some of the words. First one is working. This means that it is in the present continuous tense. So your action is ongoing as you speak. We have was working, which is in the past continuous tense. This means that my action was continuing sometime in the past. Next, I can see who's this Jia Jun and Coco Nomo. They have suggested is has been working. Now, has been working is in the present perfect continuous. This means that my action started in the past and is still continuing now. Lastly, I have had been working, which is in the past perfect continuous. This means that my action was ongoing in the past when second action took place. But for our question, we are just interested in the act of sister working at the hair salon from 5 months ago until now, which means this one started in the past and still continuing now. So our answer is number 3. Okay, so good job everybody. Now I think to aid everybody in our revision, let's let me give you example sentences for the rest of the options. So let's say is working. Sister is working at the hair salon currently. So as we talk, this action is ongoing. Okay. Now, if we say was working, and sometime in the past, we could say sister was working at the hair salon last year. So last year is a very general term. We don't have a specific period of time. All right. Now, had been working. This means that there is one action is ongoing when a second action took place. So you could say sister had been working at the hair salon when she was pregnant with her first child. So there are two actions that are ongoing in the past. One being that she worked in the hair salon, and this started first and was ongoing when the second action took place, which is she was nursing her child, right? Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question 9 now. Joey did not need any help as dash of the work had already been done by the time I got there. So for this question here, we are looking at determiners. Determiners are basically words that convey the quantity of something, and they can be split into uncountable and countable. So looking at our keyword here, we're looking at just work. Work in itself is uncountable. But if you say pieces of work, then it's countable, because you can give a quantity in front. Okay. Now let's take a look at my options. Many is for countable. I have many toy cars. Much is uncountable. He put in much effort in his work. Little is uncountable. He put in little effort in his work. Few is for countable. There are a few boys in the class. Okay? So we are looking at something that is uncountable and how she did not need any help. That means most of the work already done. So it's a high quantity here. As such, the answer will be number 2, which is much. Okay? Hello, Sherlyn. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at number 10. Frances was not sure if she dash finish the work on time. Over here, we are looking at modal auxiliary verbs. The first one is can, which shows the ability to do something. Then we have shall, which tells me the intention to do something. Could shows you are trying to express uncertain possibilities. While should here tells me the need to do something. So for our question here, you can see that the keyword is not sure. So you are uncertain about something. So the answer would be number 3, if she could finish the work on time. All right. Okay, everybody, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information for the next 5 questions before we move on to our vocab section. All right. Now it's very good that most people are, most of you are uh, proposing the answers on the comment section. Now, for our friends who have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section as well. All right. Okay, let's take a look at some vocabulary questions now. Question 11. Mobile phones have become an dash part of our lives. We cannot do without them. Optional here means something is available to be chosen, but not obligatory. That means you are not. It's not compulsory to for something. Irrelevant means not related to what is being discussed. Undesirable means unwanted due to harmful characteristics. Okay, harmful quality. Lastly, indispensable tells me that it is absolutely necessary. That means something that you cannot do without. Okay, then if you take a look at the keywords, cannot do without them, that means I will need to use my mobile phones very, very often, and I need it for my survival. As such, my answer will be number 4. Okay, indispensable. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at number 12. Convinced of her husband's innocence, she campaigned dash for his release from prison. So over here, there's the word convinced, which means that she is very emotionally attached to the belief. So it is not something that is just based on evidence. You have this strong gut feeling. Now, looking at the words, the first one is incessantly, which means constantly or no interruption. Next is relentlessly, which means in an extreme way without stopping. Next is consistently, which means that something does not change. So if you say that you are consistent in your work, this means that the quality of work remains at a particular level or standard. Interminably, which means continues for too long. Therefore, annoying. So we can see over here that there is some kind of emotion linked to your conviction. So we're looking at a kind of activity here. She campaign. That means it's like a kind of protest. Trying to rally like-minded people together, right? And this means that this action of protesting must have continued on and on, right? So we are looking at option 1 and option 2, but as what X-Men suggested, our answer will be number 2, relentlessly. And the reason is because of the word extreme. The extremity can be stemmed from someone's strong emotions for something, which is over here your conviction. You are convinced, you believe strongly That's why you will be very crazy in your campaigning. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at question 13. After Ryan beat me at chess 5 times, I had to dash that he was a better player. So we are looking at how you need to say that he was a. You need to. It's basically telling you that you have to admit to something. So looking at our options, first one is expect. Expect means regard something as going to happen. Next, we have wonder, which means you feel amazed at something. Conceit means that you admit something is true after denying it initially. Lastly, we have question, which means that you ask somebody information. Okay. So looking at our question, you had to admit defeat because you can see over here, beat me at chess 5 times. So probably at the start you may tell Ryan, no, I'm not I'm better than you in chess. But after 5 times and you keep losing, that's where you need to admit something. And this is because you probably also did not want to admit at the start, right? So in that case, our answer will be number 3, which is conceit. Moving on, we have question 14. Nina realized that something was dash when she saw a suspicious looking man loitering at the lift lobby. So we are interested in this keyword, suspicious looking. That means probably he is up to trouble or somebody who is intending to do some crime, something that is not right. Now, first one is amiss, which means not quite right or out of place. Then we have astray, which means away from the correct path or direction. Incorrect, which means wrong. Or it's not in accordance to the answer, etc. Okay. Lastly, we have incomprehensible, which means not able to be understood. So in this case here, when you are looking at somebody who is up to trouble, their behavior may be a bit abnormal, which means there is something that is not quite right. Okay, so in this case, our answer will be number 1, amiss. Okay, moving on, we have question 15. The swindler was so convincing that we easily dash his trick. First thing is swindler, so somebody who is like a con man, is up there to cheat people. Next is the trick, so probably over here you are cheated of money or something, right? Now let's take a look at all the phrasal verbs here. Fell on means that you attack somebody suddenly or unexpectedly. Fell for means that you are tricked. Fell off means fall from height. While fell into means you start doing something. So you could say he fell into the habit of reading a book before he sleep. So in this case, we are looking at how the swindler managed to trick the author and his friends. So the answer will be number 3. Number 2, which is fell for. Alright? Okay, I'll just give everybody some time to take in the information for our 5 questions of vocabulary before we move on to our vocab close section. All right. If there are no further questions, let's take a look at our... Hello, Danish. Let's take a look at our vocab close. Alright, so how we'll do this is I will read through the text and explain the meanings of the word underlined. Then we'll look at our options. Okay? The text goes, as a child, Laurel Bridgman became blind and deaf after a serious illness, despite having 2 physical disabilities. Disabilities means you have some physical or mental limitations. That inhibit activity and inhibit doing things. It prevents you from doing certain things. For example, if they have handicaps with regards to their legs, they cannot walk. She even knew which family members were approaching by feeling the vibrations of their footsteps. Her intelligence and desire to learn convinced her reluctant parents to send her to school. Convince means that someone is completely certain about something. Being an avid learner, Laura will stretch her hands out all the time. Avid here means that you are somebody who has keen interest in learning. All the time means that you do something constantly, or you are very continuous in the action. As a result, she excelled in school, especially in writing and mathematics. Her success demonstrated that children like her should receive an education. Demonstrate means that you show existence of a truth. Okay? So I believe all of us have a better understanding of the underlined words. So let's take a look at some of the options. First one is disabilities, which is some limitations which affects your daily activities. First one is injuries. Injuries means you have physical harm due to attack or accident. Ailments means minor illness. So for example, your flu. Weakness means that you are not strong or powerful due to some underlying conditions. While impairment means you have a deterioration of body part due to disease, etc. So you can see here that your disability here which are limitations. Basically prevents you from doing something. And the word that has the closest meaning would be impairments, because the deterioration will lead to that same outcome. It prevents you from conducting your daily activities. All right. Now moving on, we have question 17, convince, which means that you are certain about some activity or some fact. The first word is entice, means that you are attracted by reward or pleasure. Assured means that you are confident of doing something. Pressured means that you are coerced or you are forced to do something. Lastly, persuaded means that you induce somebody to do something with reasoning. All right. So for our question here, we are looking at how you convince or you tell somebody, they are sure of something. And the closest answer that we have, which means that you want them to believe in you, would be you persuade them. Because you will give some explanation to somebody, and if somebody believes in the explanation, he or she will believe in the statement you have made. And that's why our answer will be number 4. All right. Now look at question 18 now. It tests you on the word avid, which means somebody is a keen learner, someone who is very interested in learning or pursuing knowledge. So looking at our options, the first one is acute. Acute basically refers to an unpleasant situation or experience. All right. Eager means that you show strong willingness to learn or do something. Then we have intense, which tells me something is of extreme degree or strength. And earnest, which means someone is sincere about doing something. So we are looking at someone who is avid, which means that someone is very interested or he have a strong inclination to do something. So our closest option will be that you are eager, because this inclination to do something means that you are willing to try or you are very interested to learn. All right, so our answer will be number 2. Now we have question 19, all the time, which means that something is continuous, happening over and over again. Now the first one is routinely, which means something is part of regular process. Next we have endlessly, which means something has no limit or end. It's like non-stop. Okay, next, third one is constantly, which means there's some kind of continuity over a period of time. Lastly, we have intermittently, which means something is done irregularly. But our question here wants you to have a synonym of all the time. That means happening over and over again. So the closest option is number 3, constantly, because there is this idea of continuity. Lastly, we have question 20, which tests you on the word demonstrated. This means that you want to show an existence of something, a truth, a fact, etc. Looking at our options, we have number one, proved. Proof means that you show a particular result. Expose means that something is not hidden or covered. Exhibited means that you manifest clearly through behavior. While indicate means that you suggest or you point out something. So because we are looking at some kind of behavior or activity that shows the existence of a fact, our closest option would be number one, you prove something. So this proof is something that is tangible, something you can see, something you can do, or use your five senses to experience. And because of that, you know something exists. That means something is a fact. Okay. So I just give everyone some time to take in the information here before we move on to our grammar close. All right. Does anyone have any questions? If not, let's dive into our grammar cloaks. An adult African elephant's trunk is about 2 meters long. It is actually dash elongated nose and upper lip. So we're looking at how this trunk is something else, right? And you can see here nose and lip. So under normal circumstances, these two organs are singular. That means that one elephant only has one nose, one lip. So our closest option we have would be an elongated nose and upper lip. Like most noses, trunks are for smelling. When an elephant drinks, it sucks as much as 7.5 liters of water into its trunk dash a time. So we are looking at one motion or one time period, the elephant can drink so much water. So we are looking at a particular or very specific time period. Oops. Particular period of time. So we will use the word at, okay, to show this. Then it curls its trunk under, sticks the tip of its trunk, dash its mouth, and blows. So we need to have some kind of visualization here. the trunk will be curled out after it drinks water, and you put the tip of the trunk dash the mouth. So your mouth of the elephant is something like that, right? The nose. Okay, so your trunk you'll put back into the mouth. Okay, so you'll go in. So this direction that we're looking at means I will need to use F. In its mouth. Out comes the water right down the elephant's throat. Since African elephants live dash the sun is usually blazing hot. So for question 32 here, sorry, let me just retract for question 31. You stick the tip of the trunk, it's not in, it's all the way inside. So the correct answer should be you stick it into its mouth. Okay. Now for question 32 here, we are looking at the location of African elephants, right? So when you want to show this particular location where the sun is very hot, you use the word where. All right. And they use their trunks to help them keep cool. First, they scoop a trunk full of cool water, dash their bodies. So over here, we're looking at how the water is your trunk now. You use the trunk to squirt the water. That means you shoot some water, and you're looking at the whole body, right, of the elephant. So in that case, we'll say that you squirt the water all over the body. Okay, we're looking at the extent or the different direction the squirt is directed towards. Okay, that's why we'll use the word over. Then they often follow that dash a sprinkling of dust. For 34, we're looking at complementary actions. So you squirt the water already, then you sprinkle dust. So to show this relationship that these two activities are paired up together, we will use Q, which is with. Okay. Dash protective layer of dirt on their skin. So we're just referring to one layer, singular. Then the answer will be All right. Elephants pick up and spray the dust the same way they do with water with their trunks. An elephant's trunk is controlled dash many muscles. So here we're looking at the cause, or like the main source or something, right? So to do that, we'll use the preposition by. Two finger-like parts on the tip of the trunk allow the elephant dash perform delicate maneuvers. So you can see that we are looking at a particular action or some kind of elaboration. What does the finger-like parts allow the elephant to do? Here, they tell you upfront the information, the elaboration here. So to link these two pieces of info, we will use M to perform delicate maneuvers, such as picking a berry from the ground, dash plucking a single leaf off a tree. So we are looking at two different actions which are delicate This is one option. The second option they can do is here. So in this case, we are looking at this or that. Okay, so the answer will be H. Alternatives. Okay, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information before we move on to our next section. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's go on to our editing section. Halimah Yacob is Singapore's current president. Okay, this is from 2022 paper. Okay, so things may have changed. As an influential president, there is no doubt that President Halimah's many dash acts have. Okay, we stop here first. First thing, influential. Okay, this is a spelling error. And this is how we spell it. Now, impact here is a noun. Sorry, impact is an action word. So it's a verb. But what we're interested in is a noun. Actually, rather, your X is the noun. We are looking at we are looking to describe the noun, which is basically your descriptive words or adjectives. So in this case, you have many impactful acts. All right, has helped dash Singapore to where it is today. So if you observe, this whole text is in present tense. So it will be help shape. Not forgetting, we are looking at X. So this is plural. One of her most dash acts was through a Facebook post in 2021. So over here, we are looking at the most memorable. So again, we are looking at an adjective. We are trying to describe the act. And how you describe it, you describe it as something that people can remember very well, which is memorable. Okay, now we are looking at for question 43. She was done through a Facebook post in 2021 where she admonished. Admonish means to scold. This is a spelling error. Singaporeans were hurling negative, hurtful comments against national sportsmen who dash not perform well in international competitions. So did here is in the past tense, but we are looking at the participle past participle tense. So in that case, it is had. Now some of you may be asking, why is this so? Because you can see we are in the present now. Halimah Yacob scolding Singaporeans happened some time ago, and before this scolding happened, what happened? Some second action occurred, which is here. The Singapore athletes did not perform very well in the competitions. So because this event is the second event that happened in the past, we will use the past participle tense. So it will be had. Now let's take a look at question 45. We have to dash the tremendous sacrifice and stress that our athletes have to undergo. So we are looking at the spelling error for appreciate. Okay, so this is how you spell it. And next one is athletes, right? Now for athletes, this is how you spell it. Hello, Zizezo, Zimzemzom. So let us be kind and support their achievements wholeheartedly. Now, achievements is also spelled wrongly. And let's take a look at the correct spelling now. They are doing their best, she posted online. Understanding that doing our best is more important than dash the best. So here, doing, you can see it's an ongoing action. So it's, yes, very good, Zizenzong. So it will be being the best. Many ashamed Singaporeans then reach dash to support the sportsman. So over here, we are looking at a phrasal verb. The phrasal verb is reach out. That means for example, for this case, probably they check in for the contact details of the sportsman and ask them personally, how to help you. Okay, it's not on. Okay, for question 49 here, Zing Zam Zom. So it's reach out to support the sportsman. Okay. President Halima has been kind and exemplary. Spelling mistake. Now, on this idea of good schools, if some of you have questions with regards to choosing secondary schools, do join us for our talks on a transition to secondary school on our TikTok channel. The details of this TikTok live can be found in the link in description. Okay, so I highly encourage people like Yen to go on to those TikTok live sessions to find out more. All right. Okay, just give everyone some time to take in the information first before we look at our compre close. All right. After complete close, we'll go through synthesis. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's take a look at our complete close now. When he sat for his PSLE, Lim Ruizhe had to use a computer for the English paper. This is because he had to relearn dash to write, speak, and walk after a medical crisis. So you can see these are activities, and what the author or this Mr. Lim has to go through is the method to engage in all these activities. Yes, very good. Zing Zhen Zom is how. Okay. Ruizhe was dashed with cancer by his surgeon. So you can take a look here. We're looking at a professional, and this professional has to do a certain action. And this is, you are telling people that they have cancer. So the correct word to use would be you diagnose somebody. That means based on medical results, you come out with this conclusion. No, it cannot be dealing. Ruizhe can deal with cancer, but over here, the doctor did something to him. The doctor cannot deal with cancer for him. Do you get where I'm coming from? So it needs to be he was diagnosed with the cancer. When you see a medical profession here, and how this person has certain medical sickness or condition is always diagnosed. There's a tumor in his brain which had to be removed. Unfortunately, the dash which removed the tumor caused him to lose his motor skills. So you can see here that they had to be removed. How is it being removed? This action is what question 53 is. Action to remove tumor. Katrina, do you mean surgery? For question 53, it is surgery. How is it tumor? You have tumor here already. The tumor which removed the tumor doesn't make sense. It cannot be surgeon because here is which. So we are looking at a non-human thing. If we change this to who, then can the surgeon who removed the tumor cause him to lose? That makes sense. Okay? Lose his motor skills and as well as dash to speak. So to speak, you need to have the skill, right? So that will be the ability to speak. During treatment, he stopped dash school and instead spent time at the learning center to help him keep dash with what his peers were learning. So over here you can see he stopped dash school. So we are looking at a particular action word here. And this action word is paired up with our noun, which is a object. So it will be you stop attending school, you stop going to school. Can. Instead, spend time at the learning center to help him keep dash with his peers who are learning in school. So you're trying to stay on the same page, you're trying to stay abreast. Right? So it will be you keep up. Though his condition improved subsequently, speaking and writing were dash difficult. Now we need to observe there's a though here which shows contrast. So you can see here it improved subsequently. So we'll expect speaking and writing to be perhaps a bit easier. But you can see here the next sentence tells me that it's difficult. So we're trying to emphasize this fact. To do so, we'll say it was still difficult. He could not walk properly and was dashed on a wheelchair to move around. So you could see that this wheelchair is something that is necessary for him to go about with his daily activities. So if something is necessary and you need it, you could say that he was reliant or dependent. He was relying on a wheelchair to move around. Okay, Ken, I will accept. And he was relying on a wheelchair. He was also allowed to use a computer to dash out his compositions during the examinations, as his arm would cramp easily from writing. So we are looking at computer. So when you have a computer, the action that you do is to not really draft, type out. Because over here you can see it's composition. So the end product is what we need to know. The end product is your Microsoft Word document with all your words. So how do you do that? It's by typing, not drafting. Okay? To help him cope with his schoolwork, his parents, teachers, and friends played an dash role. Take note, and tells me that over here I need to have a starting word with a vowel. And we're looking at the role. So our answer could be important. We can say an essential role. Basically, you want to highlight that these particular people here helped him a lot. His mother sat in classes with him and took down notes for him so that he could concentrate. His teachers and friends looked out for him too. wherever he dash a lesson, they would fill him in. So you can see here, fill him in. That means you update him on what happened during the class. So this can only happen when the person who is absent from the lesson. Okay, that's why you need to update him because he probably don't know what happened. So yes, very good, Katrina. You missed a lesson. In addition, dash in sports had helped him on the road to recovery. So over here, sports is a now again. So we are looking at some action. So it could be you participate, the act of participating in sports. Because over here there's an in. Not participate, participating. Indulging has a negative connotation. That means you do something excessively until you become addicted. So indulging cannot be accepted. 睿智 is a dash of the junior hand cycling team. So when you have a team and you are part of it, you use the word you are a member of the team. Okay. He even dashed a silver medal in the 200-meter race. Now over here they talk about medal. So how do you get this medal? You won a medal. Okay. When asked if he has dash thought of giving up in his fight, he said never. So we are looking at how this thought, when this thought actually came to his mind before. Yes, very good, Katrina. So we use the word ever. It's to emphasize, whether such a thought ever came to his mind before. These kind of words are usually for emphasis, like the word still. Okay. All right. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information before we move on to our synthesis and transformation. Okay. We must wait for the rain to stop. Then we can go out to play. So when you have the word until, it shows that a particular time period is important to us. So for our sentence here, you can identify that the particular time period is here, rain to stop. So this will be at the start of the sentence, then you comma, then you can do a certain activity. So until the rain stops, we cannot go out to play. Please take note, the word is cannot here because the word until shows that this time period needs to be fulfilled first. But at this current point, when we are talking about this sentence, this time period hasn't been fulfilled yet. Therefore, we need to use the negative connotation at the back, which is you cannot do something. Now, let's take a look at question 67. The project was submitted early. The teacher was surprised. So the teacher was surprised with the early dash. So you can see here, submitted is a verb. I can do this particular action. But now we're looking at the early dash. So this is a noun. Early is my adjective. You are describing how you submit it. So to change the word form, yes, very good, Zing Zam Zong. Early submission of the project. Alright, let's take a look at question 68. The students are wiping the tables in the canteen. So we are looking at passive to active form and vice versa. So you can see, wiping is my verb, my action word. So here the students are doing this action. So this is the subject, and the object of the sentence is the tables in the canteen. So to change it, it will be the tables in the canteen are being wiped by the students. Take note, when you have this kind of active to passive voice changeover, there always needs to be a by, and after the by, then is my subject of the sentence. Okay. All right, let's take a look at question 69 now. Did the alarm clock ring this morning? Father asked Joe. So when we have reported speech, we always need to do 3 steps. Underline the words that you need to change. Edit it. Whether the alarm clock had rung that morning. So it will be, Father asked Joe if the alarm clock had rung that morning. So when we encounter direct to indirect speech question, we need to draw our timeline. Present, past, and participle. Ring, rang, had rung. Now, while the word here is ring, take note that did tells me it is in the past tense. As such, I will start from this time period and move back one time period to here, the past participle, which is had rung. So this is a common pitfall, and I hope everyone can remember this. Okay. Lastly, let's take a look at question 70. Andy does not like durians. His sister does not like durians too. So the sentence will be, neither Andy nor his sister. Take note, the closest word we have here is sister, which is singular. So it'll be likes durians. Okay. Why that morning, not this morning? Because when let's say, okay, I draw this cartoon here. So you are the author of this sentence, Father and Joe. So Father and Joe is having this conversation. Did the alarm clock ring this morning? So let's say when you give this reported speech, it may not be on the same day. Let's say you heard Father and Joe talking on Saturday, and now you are telling me what you have heard on Sunday. So if you use the word this morning, it will change the meaning, because Father and Joe had this conversation on Saturday morning, and now you are telling me this reported speech on Sunday. So there is a difference when you use this, because this means on the same day. At the same time, if you use that, you can point to the Saturday morning and say that morning. And that is the whole reason why we always need to change these kind of things. All right. If the sentence is Andy or his sisters, is it like or likes? Like. The pronoun or noun that is closest to the verb will affect this. Okay. So neither Andy nor his sisters. Then it will be like durian. Okay. Any other questions? All right. If there are no further questions, thank you everyone for joining me this afternoon. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work. And if you would like to learn more Primary 5 English with me, do join me at 4:45 for our next P5 English revision session. I'll be going through Rosyth Primary School P5 paper from 2022. Till then, I will see everybody again. Okay? We'll just go for a short break now. Okay? Bye bye.